Hello and welcome to Monday. Yesterday was a lot, and today will continue to be a lot. A couple days ago, I stumbled across a website. That website would be NeoCities, and I've heard of the site before. I've even visited it before, at least parts of it. NeoCities is a GeoCities kind of reimagining, and I talked about this yesterday, and I talked about what is it? Hold on, I'm looking it up as I speak. Space Hay, which is the MySpace kind of remake inspired site, and it got me thinking about a lot of things. I like so much has been on my mind recently, and I feel like this is one way to express it. So, I wrote a manifesto. I know that word may not have the best of connotations, but it fits with what I want to kind of say. A manifesto is a written declaration of intentions, motives, or views. And I wrote quite a bit. Hopefully you could have seen that maybe if I lower the brightness a tiny bit. It's a bit too dim. Yeah, that's probably better. There's the manifesto. There's a lot. A lot of it was based on my original post on my blog that I posted at the beginning of this year. And I've kind of been experiencing like internet fatigue and media fatigue, and I feel like writing this has kind of liberated me in a sense and has created a newfound sense of purpose, at least on the internet. I have a few core tenets that I kind of believe in. One, that information should be publicly accessible no matter the means. It should always be available. Two, everybody should have access to, basic life utilities and everything, but information, software, and the internet in general, being able to access such things is incredibly important. It's probably the same thing, but another tenet would be that everything needs to be preserved and archived in such a manner so that it can be experienced for other people in generations down the line or even tomorrow. The website that you're viewing this on may not even exist tomorrow, and that's kind of scary and weird to think about, but it probably won't. Probably be here for a long, long time, but that's something that can and might eventually happen. And then one thing that really struck me when I was reading on these websites the other day was that people are people. There is an active person behind the screen. I'm talking to a real person right now. At least I hope I am. If a robot is watching this and comprehending it, that's insane to me. But I'm a real person. The thing that you're viewing this on, you are viewing this on a screen that is connected to a whole mess of cables and internet, and you are accessing this through a whole bunch of mess of cables and internet and a whole vast series of tubes that eventually lead back to this room where, we're talking, well, at least I'm talking to a camera that I plug in to this vast series of cables so that I'm able to share anything with you. And that's incredible to think about. But it kind of dehumanizes the aspect of that. There's a little like button probably down here somewhere, and the thumbs up button rather, and then I guess the thumbs down, and there's a whole other slew of buttons, and it takes so little effort. I've never asked for likes or subscriptions or anything, and I never will, but there exists a like button right there. And that kind of dehumanizes the interaction that we have with people in general. It's so easy to go on websites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Tumblr, so many other places on the internet, and just click the little button that's a quick hit of dopamine or whatever for some people. It's just, I enjoyed this. But it takes so much more to actively like comment on a post and be like, hey, let's talk about this, let's converse. And that's something that really needs to be more, right? It's something that needs to exist, and something that needs to happen. And I feel like it needs to be opened up somehow. I don't really have a platform for such a thing, right? Like, none of my websites have any comment sections or anything. All of them are just like simple pages that exist on a server right next to me that are, connected through many series of wires and tubes. And that's cool, but I don't foster an environment where people are able to communicate and chat with one another about a certain topic, right? Like, my personal blog is my personal blog, and like a lot of stuff will go on there. I have pages where it's just me talking about random nonsense. I have pages where I go to an art museum. There's a page about what I did last week. Well, not last week, hanging out with friends and family and just being like, having a good time. And it doesn't really lend itself to conversation. On the other hand, I have a music review website where I talk about, music that I enjoy, and then like, if I click on a review there's no comment section or anything, right? There's no way to interact with this. Like, I leave all the references and relevant links, but there's no possible way that you can interact with such a website. And I don't foster that environment, and that's something that I really need to start doing. But to be fair, other websites haven't really done such a great job, even though that's what they were built on. It feels like we're dehumanizing what it means to be a person, and that's unfortunate. It sucks, but that's where things have kind of gone, right? Maybe one day we'll be able to resolve this, and at least that's going to be my goal for the near future, or the current future rather, is to work towards being more human. It's a lot, and I know I ended things off kind of frustrated yesterday and just rambling and talking, and that's what I'm doing now, but at least I'm doing it in a much more positive light. With that said, I think that's what I'm going to call it for today, however. I'll leave you with the final words that I have on this blog post, and I think that'll be a solid mantra going forward until I find a new one to stick with. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow. And until then, be a real person.